Hi Vapors, Bancho review again. Today we're going to take a look at another Malaysian made mod. It's called the Kapak mod, as in kapak to chop the wood. Kapak is the Malay word for those of you who are non-Malaysian language speakers. Kapak is the word for axe, as I said before, kapak to chop the wood. All right, so what is it? Because not many of I believe not many of us know about this mod, because the modder himself contacted me for his to hand over his mod for review. And also, if I'm not mistaken, there's only 50 units of the version 1 that is being released at the moment, and he's now working on the version 2. So he came to me and handed me over these two beautiful looking tubes. And as you can see, it's a typical bottom fire mod. Tube style means that it is non-telescopic. The tubes I have here are for the battery sizes of 18350 and 18650. It is made of brass, and it's got the 3604 grade of brass, bottom fire with a locking switch. And without further ado, we'll take a look at it in great detail. But before that, this Kapak mod is made by Liqua Vapor Vapor. If any of you know him, his name is Shahnaz. He sells liquid and suddenly got into making mods. And this is his first mod, the Kapak mod. This is the version 1 of it. And yeah, let's take a look at it part by part as the past review I've been making. Alright, so what is this Kapak mod? The Kapak mod, here are the parts of it. I've taken apart everything except for the insulators, the top cap, and also the switch body. Alright, so brass switch with copper pins. Let's take a look at it detail by detail. We'll take one close-up detail of it assembled after this. Right? This is the firing pin. This is the switch pin, and it's got an engraving over there that says Kapak 001. So this is apparently the first unit that came off the production line of the version 1. Pretty nice engraving, cursive, I like that. This is the spring. Maybe I'm too close here. Alright, this is the spring. A bit hard, but on the version 2 is probably going to make it softer. The switch body is the only SS component in here. Insulator to stop the battery, and it's got the locking ring, reverse threaded, completely detachable, reverse threaded, always make you turn your head around. Okay, the brass nut, the copper nut actually is the one that makes contact with the battery, and this is the tube. It's not really polished finish. It's got a very fine brush finish on it. Very fine brush finish on it. And here you can see the engraving. It says Kapak 001 as well. A very nice engraving. He told me that this is a traditional Siamese Thailander axe. And take a look at the thread inside, the switch part, and the top cap part. This is the tube for the 18650. This is the tube for the 18350. It's got the initial by LVV, that stands for Liqua Vapor Vapor. That's the engraving again with the matching serial number. And it's actually etching, but I've been assured by the modder that he tried to polish it off with a really good polishing machine and it still didn't rub off, so maybe etching would stay for a while if it's done correctly. So this is the adjustable copper center pin for the atty. So this was applied a bit longer, about 2 to 3 mm longer, at about just my fingernail tip, and so it wouldn't really sit nice in the mod. So I trim it off. With the file, and as you can see, this is the part that makes contact with the atty, adjustable to suit any different atties, and this is the part that makes contact with the battery, with the top pin of the battery. And lastly, it's a top cap. It's got the centerpiece insulated with a very hard plastic, and this is threaded. This guy is threaded right here. This is the top part of it. It's got slots. It's got slots for any atties that draw the air from the bottom. Not many users of that now with the Mac mod, but there are still people who are using things like the spheroid or the Ithaca original clone. It's getting a bit more popular nowadays. Alright, so that is the mod, part by part. I've got no comments on it. I don't doubt that this mod would actually perform at somewhere around 0.25 as it is, voltage drop wise I'm talking about. And so let me just assemble it. See, it's not going to be so hard to assemble this thing. So switch goes together, then the securing nut right there, the tube, and this part goes in here, and inside here. Alright, so let's take one close look at it again. This is the whole thing put together. You can see the machining is pretty good. The threads on it feels smooth. The locking ring, switch feels smooth, although the spring is a bit hard, but not that hard, I would say. I'm probably too used to other soft spring mod that I'm currently using at the moment. The top cap, and you can see the center pin over here, and you probably noticed that the center pin is hollow, right? And it might not make for a very good surface contact with the atty, but nevertheless we'll measure it after this. A very good mod. And as you can see, it's plain except for the engraving over here. Other than that, it's plain. It's got very fine brush finish on the brass, and it's quite shiny. Alright, so that's the two mod being looked at closely, and now we are gonna measure it. We're gonna measure the performance of it with my rig. Okay, now we're gonna do the performance tests on it, and from now on, I just would like to say that I'm gonna use some batteries that are gonna be specifically just for testing. I wouldn't use this in a normal situation. It's just going to be used for the test, so that I don't use depleted batteries in my review. And that means I'm probably going to get some 18500 and 18350 for testing as well. But well, that's how it goes. Okay, now here comes problem number one. As you can see, when I've connected an atty to the top cap, and when the atty sits flush, because this is how you set it, right? You screw in all the way you screw in the atty all the way, and then you adjust the center pin. And take a look at this. I've trimmed this. I've trimmed this length, and this is a nice fit. I would say only a 1 mm gap to go through all the way. So that means any addies that are shorter than the standard version, you can still use it with this mod, because that means you can still adjust the pin. But the original pin was about a good 3 millimeters longer than this one. So that is a waste of space if you didn't trim it away. And here comes problem number 2. When I put in the battery and screw it in, so you can see there's a gap over here. Let me try to get this closer. See that gap? This gap right here? Yep. So that means the tube is actually a bit long, a bit short for this type of battery. And this battery that I use is actually the Panasonic CGR18650, and these are becoming the standard sizes nowadays. The AWIMR is a standard, this is the standard, and probably the other famous one is the EFES or the MNKE brand. So we'll talk about that in the later section, but let's just get this done with. So as is, this is fresh from the charger. 4.234, about there, 4.22. Let me hook up my atty here, and we can measure the resistance. This is a new coil on this one, so yep, as I expected, about 1.0, well, 0.9 to 1.0 type of atty on a dripping atty with silica wick. Alright, so 4.22 unloaded, fresh battery. Let me fire this. .0, oh, that's pretty good. Again. .04. One more time. 4.04. Okay, so we got some firing issues there, but maybe because I'm not a lefty, I'm much more comfortable firing with my right hand. But 4.04, 4.22, that means a 0.18 drop on the on the mod. So 0.18 volt drop. Well, that's pretty good. As is, that is actually pretty good. And bear in mind that this battery is being fired for the first time, so it's a new battery, so that must be contributing to it. But that shows the potential of this mod as is. Next, I'm gonna Noalox this up and see if we get any improvement. So let's try this again. Let me measure the voltage again. The unloaded voltage. We're looking at, oh, still 4.21 now. Alright, that sounds more realistic. Okay, the same atty after the Noalox job. Fire it up. 4.06. Let me try using my right hand. Yep. So that's a bit strange. It didn't really improve with the Noalox job, probably because the mod itself was already near its limit. Try it again one last time. Yep. So about there, I would say it was still about the same 4.04 that we got earlier, even after the Noalox job. So the Noalox job didn't really do anything to this, except for it will care for the thread a little bit longer. Now you've seen it, so we are getting 0.18 volt drop out of the Kapak mod. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, for the first attempt of it, and you'll hear the story on how Kapak mod was put together. Uh, well, I would say this is pretty good, and it will deliver pretty awesome result. If you don't believe me, let me try it once. Um, yep, the numbers are lying. I can feel the warmth of the vapor and the power output of the coil. It's pretty much there around 0.2 and below type of voltage drop. Okay, so now let's talk about the concerns on what I have and hear a little story about the mod itself. All right, so what do I think about the Kapak mod? The Kapak mod is pretty well done. It's nearly there, except for some issues with dimensions. The model, when we met, we actually chatted for about a good almost 2 hours, and we went over everything about the mod, and it was obvious that he got the dimensions wrong with the standard batteries of Panasonic cell, the AW cell. He should have based the dimension off these kind of batteries and make the mod suitable for those type of batteries, so we don't have any gap issues like this. The 18350 was also wrongly dimensioned. It was supposed to be shorter, but that is not all. He didn't come to me for me. He didn't lend the unit for me to make reviews for him to sell his mod. No, not really. He just wanted to let you guys know that he's out there and he's gonna come up with the version 2. The version 2 is what I'm really interested about. Although it's going to be a copper tube, that is shaped from the solid copper rod. But well, that still doesn't interest me. But what interests me is that it's going to have hand engraving on the mod. So it's going to be traditional Malaysian hand engraving done on the copper tube. So that's something that I really would like to see. And for the price, 350, 350 is what he was selling this set at. Is not a bad price at all. I mean, the Dawn I have was 330 ringgit if you convert it from 65 GBP. And this mod 350, I would happily buy it if I'm looking for a starter mod. It's plain, it's robust, the components look robust, but too bad you couldn't buy any of the version 1. The Kapak Merah is the version 2 because its copper tube will be out soon. It's going to be in the making at the moment. You can get more info of Liqua Vapor Vapor at his Facebook page, which I'll be showing shortly. There you can see. Yep, you can contact him through there if you want to ask him any question or on when the version 2 is coming out. I understand that he's currently making the final preparations for the mod. Nonetheless, good modder. He's an interesting guy to talk with, very humble and very honest. Much of the shortcomings that you see in this version 1, I promise you will no longer be there in the version 2 because I'll be watching the progress very carefully as well. And if you are interested, like I said, try to get in touch with him and take a look at the page and see if the booking list or the pre-order list is coming out soon. All right. So that is all I have to say about the Kapak version 1. A nice mod, a simple mod to have. It's in the right price range. If I'm not mistaken, the Kapak 2, Kapak Merah, he says, Kapak version 2 is going to be priced below 400 ringgit. So that's going to be a pretty good buy. I would keep an eye out on it. And yeah, vape on.